Beloved souls, within you lies a treasury greater than gold, richer than diamonds, and more powerful than any bank account in the world. That treasury is the power of your own thought. Every idea you hold with conviction is a spark of creation, shaping your world in ways you may not yet see, but are destined to experience. Money, success, opportunity, these are not distant prizes. They are reflections of your inner state. If your mind is a garden, then your thoughts are seeds. Plant weeds of fear, and lack will spring up. Plant seeds of faith, and wealth will blossom without effort. Too often, people cry, "I have not enough." That cry becomes a command to the universe, and the universe answers, "So be it." Yet when you declare, "I am divinely supplied," money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. The whole of creation conspires to deliver abundance at your door. Remember, imagination is not idle play. It is the workshop of reality. See yourself living in freedom, walking in abundance, accomplishing your dreams. Feel it as if it were already yours. That picture, painted on the canvas of the mind, becomes the script the universe must perform. Your words are mighty swords. They cut pathways for money to reach you or barriers to block it. Speak wealth, speak success, speak joy, and watch how quickly the atmosphere of your life changes, and let gratitude be your song. Thankfulness for even the smallest coin opens the floodgates for greater riches. The grateful heart magnetizes supply, for it signals to the universe, "I am ready for more." Do not clutch at money in fear. Do not chase it in desperation. Release resistance. Know that supply flows to you because you are aligned with infinite abundance. When you trust this law, you will find opportunities rising like dawn after the longest night. Act boldly. When an inspired idea strikes, do not wait for perfect conditions. Leap in faith. Success belongs to the courageous, and money rushes to support the one who moves with confidence. And never forget, manifestation can be instant. The very moment your thought, your word, and your action come into harmony with abundance, doors open, calls arrive, and miracles unfold before your eyes. Prosperity is not a privilege for a chosen few. It is your birthright. The river of wealth is already flowing. You need only dip your cup into its stream. So rise in faith, think with power, speak with authority, and act with courage. For in doing so, you turn your very thoughts into money and success instantly. Beloved souls, within you lies a treasury greater than gold, richer than diamonds, and more powerful than any bank account in the world. That treasury is the power of your own thought. Every idea you hold with conviction is a spark of creation, shaping your world in ways you may not yet see, but are destined to experience. Each thought is like a messenger you send into the invisible realm, and it returns carrying the fruit of what you have planted. This is why you cannot afford to entertain thoughts of fear, lack, or defeat, for they will return with exactly that. Instead, choose to dwell in thoughts of abundance, wealth, courage, and success, and you will find those very things rushing toward you. Money, success, opportunity, these are not distant prizes. They are reflections of your inner state. They are mirrors showing you what you hold most firmly within. If your mind is a garden, then your thoughts are seeds. You cannot plant weeds and expect roses to bloom. You cannot plant poverty and expect wealth. Plant weeds of fear, and lack will spring up. Plant seeds of faith, and wealth will blossom without effort. Every time you say, "I cannot," you close a door. Every time you say, "I can and I will," you open one. The laws of the universe are exact and impartial. They return to you not what you wish for idly, but what you affirm with conviction. Too often, people cry, "I have not enough." That cry becomes a command to the universe, and the universe answers, "So be it." The vibration of lack is magnetic, and it pulls more lack to it. The individual wonders why their condition never improves, not realizing that their very words and thoughts are the chains holding them. Yet when you declare, "I am divinely supplied," money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. The whole of creation conspires to deliver abundance at your door. The statement itself reorders the invisible currents, and opportunities begin to unfold in surprising and delightful ways. What you speak with feeling is what you summon. Imagination is not idle play. It is the workshop of reality. All that exists in the visible world first began in the unseen. The house, the city, the invention, the book, all were first imagined in the silent space of the mind. In the same way, wealth begins with an image. See yourself living in freedom, walking in abundance, accomplishing your dreams. See yourself paying bills with ease, extending generosity without hesitation, living in a space where money is not a struggle but a faithful servant. Feel it as if it were already yours, for the subconscious does not distinguish between imagination and fact. That picture, painted on the canvas of the mind, becomes the script the universe must perform. Your words are mighty swords. They cut pathways for money to reach you or barriers to block it. If you continually declare, money never stays with me, success avoids me, nothing ever works, then those words act as guards, turning abundance away at your very door. Speak wealth, speak success, speak joy, and watch how quickly the atmosphere of your life changes. Say often, everything I touch prospers. I am a magnet for money. Opportunities find me. These are not empty phrases. They are powerful commands that write themselves into the fabric of your reality. When spoken with faith, they awaken resources, inspire ideas, and draw circumstances that match the vibration of your words. Let gratitude be your song. Thankfulness for even the smallest coin opens the floodgates for greater riches. One who despises the little will never hold the great, for they have trained themselves to overlook the treasure already present. The grateful heart magnetizes supply, for it signals to the universe, I am ready for more. When you give thanks in advance, even before the blessing arrives, you set yourself in harmony with the incoming gift. Gratitude is a bridge between the unseen and the seen, the promise and the manifestation. To complain is to close the door. To give thanks is to throw it wide open. Do not clutch at money in fear. Do not chase it in desperation. Money is energy, and energy flows where it is welcomed, not where it is clutched with trembling hands. Release resistance. Know that supply flows to you because you are aligned with infinite abundance. When you trust this law, you will find opportunities rising like dawn after the longest night. Fear chokes the flow. Faith clears the channel. Prosperity comes easily to the one who is unafraid to release, to circulate, to believe that more is always on its way. To hold tightly in fear is to proclaim, I do not trust the source. But to give, to share, to act with ease is to proclaim, I am connected to an endless supply. Act boldly. When an inspired idea strikes, do not wait for perfect conditions. The perfect time is now, for the idea itself carries its own provision. Leap in faith. Success belongs to the courageous, and money rushes to support the one who moves with confidence. Every invention, every great achievement, every fortune began with a bold step that defied fear. To hesitate is to suffocate the idea. To move is to give it breath and life. Boldness is rewarded because it demonstrates trust, and trust is the currency of heaven. When you act in alignment with your inner vision, you call forth resources, helpers, and doors that no human calculation could have arranged. Manifestation can be instant. Do not believe the lie that you must struggle for years before success can arrive. The very moment your thought, your word, and your action come into harmony with abundance, doors open, calls arrive, and miracles unfold before your eyes. The delay is not in the universe. The delay is in your own doubt, hesitation, and resistance. Clear those, and manifestation appears suddenly, like a harvest ready overnight. Many have experienced this, a sudden check, an unexpected opportunity, a chance meeting that changes everything. These are not accidents. They are the swift results of inner alignment, and alignment can happen in a single breath, a single decision, a single declaration made with unshakable faith. Prosperity is not a privilege for a chosen few. It is your birthright. You were not born to struggle, to scrape, to live in the shadows of lack. You were born to shine, to flourish, to manifest the infinite richness of the universe. Success and money are not foreign guests you must beg to visit. They are members of your own household, waiting for you to invite them into the rooms of your life. The river of wealth is already flowing. You need only dip your cup into its stream. There is no need for envy, no need for fear. The supply is endless, and the same law that governs the stars governs your prosperity. When you think with power, speak with authority, and act with courage, you turn your very thoughts into money and success instantly, surely, and abundantly. Faith is the golden key that unlocks the vaults of abundance, while fear is the heavy chain that binds the door shut. Every man and woman stands daily at a crossroads between these two powers, and whichever path they choose becomes the condition of their life. Faith draws money, success, and opportunity as surely as the magnet draws iron. Fear, on the other hand, drives prosperity away, scattering blessings like frightened birds. The two cannot live together, they are enemies. One builds, the other destroys. One attracts, the other repels. The choice is always ours, for the law of the mind obeys no one but the one who thinks. Consider the mind as a broadcasting station. Faith transmits signals of wealth, confidence, and security, and the universe sends back circumstances that match those signals. Fear broadcasts poverty, danger, and doubt, and the world responds with lack, obstacles, and disappointment. Many spend their days calling upon prosperity while secretly vibrating fear, and then wonder why the answer seems delayed. Yet the law is exact. What you truly believe you receive. Pretending will not suffice. The heart must be filled with faith, for faith is the language the universe understands. Think of money not as pieces of paper, but as energy that responds to vibration. It cannot dwell where it is unwelcome. Fear is a repellent, a closed door. Faith is a welcome, an open gate. The fearful man clutches at money, terrified of loss, and money slips from his hands. The faithful man spends and gives with peace, knowing that supply is endless and money returns to him multiplied. Faith generates circulation, and circulation is the lifeblood of prosperity. Fear halts circulation, creating stagnation, which is the breeding ground of lack. Fear whispers, "What if I lose everything? What if I fail? What if tomorrow holds disaster?" Faith replies, "I live in a universe of abundance. My needs are met before I even ask. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I cannot fail, for I walk in divine order." Which voice rules within you determines whether you walk in scarcity or abundance. The fearful live in the shadow of tomorrow's dread. The faithful live in the sunlight of today's provision. Look at nature, and you will see the truth of faith. The bird sings in the morning, not knowing where the worm will come from, yet food is always provided. The flower blooms in trust, not in fear of drought, and the rain arrives in its season. Faith is the natural law of life, while fear is the invention of the human mind disconnected from truth. If the sparrow and the lily can trust, how much more should we, who have the power of thought and word, stand secure in the knowledge that our needs will be supplied. Fear is poverty in seed form. It begins as a thought, but when entertained, it grows into worry, then anxiety, then paralysis. It blocks action, blinds vision, and shuts the door on opportunity. Faith, however, is wealth in seed form. It begins as trust, grows into confidence, and blossoms into courageous action. Faith sees opportunity where fear sees obstacles. Faith moves forward boldly, while fear hesitates until the chance has passed. Many fortunes are lost, not through lack of opportunity, but through the fear of seizing them. To master money, one must first master fear. This is not done by fighting fear, but by replacing it. Light does not argue with darkness, it simply shines and darkness vanishes. In the same way, faith does not wrestle with fear. It affirms truth and fear dissolves. When the thought of lack arises, immediately substitute, I am divinely supplied. Money flows to me freely and abundantly. When fear of failure whispers, answer with, every step I take is guided. Success is inevitable. These affirmations, spoken with conviction, retrain the subconscious mind until fear no longer holds power. Faith is not wishful thinking, it is certainty. It does not say, I hope money will come. It declares, money comes to me now, my supply is sure. Faith is confident because it knows that abundance is not created by human effort alone, but by alignment with universal law. Just as gravity never fails, the law of supply never fails those who believe. Faith rests in this truth while fear doubts it, and doubt is like a hole in the bucket. It leaks away the very blessing you are trying to hold. Gratitude strengthens faith. When you give thanks for what you have, no matter how small, you affirm abundance, and the universe mirrors that affirmation with more. Fear complains of insufficiency, and insufficiency grows. Faith praises sufficiency, and sufficiency expands. Even a single coin, blessed with gratitude, becomes a magnet for a fortune. Fear despises the little and therefore never sees the great. Faith honors the little and is entrusted with the greater. Opportunities are visible only to the eye of faith. Fear blinds. Two people may look at the same situation. One sees only risk, the other sees possibility. The fearful man withdraws, while the faithful man steps forward and reaps the harvest. Life is generous, but only the bold reap its gifts. Money and success are companions of courage. They refuse to dwell with the timid. Boldness born of faith is the signal that attracts prosperity. Faith operates in the present moment. Fear lives in the future. Fear says, someday I may not have enough. Faith says, today I am supplied, and tomorrow will take care of itself. When you live fully in the present, you dissolve the illusions of fear, for fear is always about what has not yet happened. The faithful know that the same source that provided today will provide tomorrow, and thus they walk in peace. Peace itself is a magnet for prosperity, while anxiety repels it. In the great decision between faith and fear lies the destiny of money and success. If you choose fear, you choose poverty of spirit and often poverty of circumstance. If you choose faith, you choose the open door to abundance, to money flowing, to success appearing in unexpected ways. The choice must be made daily, moment by moment, thought by thought. Each affirmation of faith builds a fortress of prosperity around you. Each surrender to fear dismantles it. Therefore, walk as one who knows the truth. Affirm abundance, trust the law, act boldly, and let fear have no place in your mind. Money responds to faith, not fear. Success follows courage, not hesitation. The world is not waiting to punish you with lack. It is waiting to reward you with plenty. Step into faith, and you will step into the stream of abundance, where money and success flow without end. The mind cannot hold two opposing thoughts with equal power at the same time. It must choose one, and that chosen thought will shape the conditions of your life. This is the essence of the law of substitution. When a thought of lack, worry, or limitation arises, it must be instantly replaced with its opposite, abundance, confidence, and success. The law is simple yet profound. Whatever picture you allow to remain in your consciousness will grow roots and bear fruit in your reality. The garden of the mind does not discriminate. It will nurture weeds as readily as roses. Therefore, the work of mastery is to recognize the weed of fear the moment it appears and replace it with the seed of faith before it can take hold. Every man and woman is tempted daily by thoughts of scarcity. The bill arrives and the thought says, there will not be enough. The opportunity arises and the thought says, I am not capable. These are whispers of limitation, and if entertained, they create conditions that mirror their message. But the law of substitution gives us power. The moment the thought of insufficiency comes, we may answer with, I am divinely supplied. I have all that I need, and more is on its way. When the whisper of inadequacy arises, we declare, I am guided, equipped, and empowered. Nothing can withhold success from me. The negative cannot stand when the positive is affirmed with conviction. Consider how sunlight dispels darkness. The darkness cannot remain once the light is switched on. You do not wrestle with shadows, you simply replace them with light. So it is with thought. You do not fight fear, for to fight it is to feed it with attention. You replace it with faith. You do not argue with worry. You substitute it with peace. You do not analyze lack. You replace it with abundance. In this way, the mind is trained to dwell only on what you wish to multiply. The subconscious mind is obedient and impressionable. It does not question whether your thoughts are true. It accepts them as commands and sets about producing conditions to match. If you feed it a steady diet of I cannot, I lack, I fear, it will faithfully reproduce lack, obstacles, and loss. But if you feed it, I am wealthy, I am supplied, I am successful, it will reorganize circumstances, inspire ideas, and draw opportunities that prove your words. This is why substitution must be constant, for the subconscious never sleeps. The power of this law lies in immediacy. You cannot allow negative thoughts to linger, for they sink into the soil of the mind and take root. The moment the thought of lack arises, you must replace it. Let your affirmations be ready as soldiers on the battlefield. I am abundance. I am success. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. Speak them aloud if necessary, for words carry vibration and authority. The quicker you replace the thought, the weaker its hold, until eventually it loses the power to appear at all. Every successful man and woman has mastered this law, whether knowingly or unconsciously. They do not dwell long on defeat. They may face setbacks, but they quickly substitute the thought of loss with the vision of victory. They may encounter obstacles, but they replace worry with determination and creativity. This substitution creates resilience, and resilience attracts opportunity. Life responds not to the one who fears defeat, but to the one who sees beyond it and insists on success. Let us consider money itself. Many entertain the thought, money is hard to get, money is scarce, money slips through my fingers. These thoughts build walls that repel wealth. To substitute, one must affirm, money is abundant, money comes to me easily, money stays with me and multiplies. When repeated with faith, these new thoughts dissolve the old pattern, and money begins to appear with greater ease. Opportunities arise, ideas unfold, and connections present themselves, not because the world has changed, but because the mind has shifted its signal. Relationships, health, career, all are governed by the same law. The thought of loneliness must be replaced with, I am loved and valued. The thought of weakness must be substituted with, I am strong and whole. The thought of failure must give way to, every step I take leads me closer to triumph. Over time, the old weeds wither, and the garden of the mind blooms with flowers of prosperity. This practice requires discipline. The mind left to wander will often drift toward fear, for fear is familiar, but discipline is the price of freedom. Each substitution is like lifting a weight, strengthening the muscle of faith. At first, it may feel unnatural, but with practice, it becomes automatic. The day will come when a thought of lack cannot linger for even a moment, for faith will have become the ruling habit of the mind. There is no limit to the results this law can bring. Imagine a life where every fear is instantly replaced with courage, every doubt with confidence, every thought of lack with abundance. Such a life cannot help but be filled with money, success, health, and joy, for the mind has become a magnet for all that is good. The law of substitution is not theory. It is the mechanism by which destiny is shaped. Those who master it rise above circumstance, for they no longer allow circumstance to dictate thought. Instead, they dictate circumstance by choosing their thoughts. In truth, you are never at the mercy of outer conditions. You are only at the mercy of the thoughts you choose to entertain. The law of substitution hands you the key to freedom. Whenever lack knocks, abundance answers. Whenever fear whispers, faith responds. Whenever doubt sneaks in, certainty drives it out. You become the gatekeeper of your mind, admitting only those thoughts that build, uplift, and enrich. And as you do, your world transforms to reflect the inner order you have established. Therefore, guard your thoughts as treasures. Let no word of limitation linger on your lips. No image of poverty stay in your imagination. Replace them swiftly, firmly, joyfully, until your mind becomes a sanctuary of abundance. For as surely as weeds cannot overtake a well-tended garden, lack cannot overtake a mind that continually substitutes it with wealth. This is the path to freedom, to success, to money flowing as naturally as the air you breathe. Practice it faithfully, and the law of substitution will make your life a masterpiece of prosperity. Imagination is the workshop of creation, the silent architect that designs the structures of wealth, success, and prosperity long before they rise in the material world. Every fortune, every empire, every discovery, every masterpiece of art or industry was first an invisible picture in the mind of its creator. Nothing exists in your hands that did not first exist in your thoughts. Imagination is the soil, and riches are the harvest. If you desire money, if you seek success, you must first sow the seeds of imagination with boldness and conviction, for it is the blueprint that determines what life will build for you. Many dismiss imagination as fantasy, a mere plaything of children or dreamers, but this is a grave mistake. Imagination is not idle, it is powerful, and it is prophetic. The picture you hold vividly and repeatedly in your mind, especially when charged with feeling, sets forces in motion that rearrange the world around you. To imagine lack is to build poverty. To imagine abundance is to construct prosperity. You may not yet see the mansion, the thriving business, the flourishing career, but if you have pictured it with faith, it already exists in the unseen realm, waiting for the right moment to appear. Imagine a person who continually sees themselves struggling, failing, overlooked, and rejected. Though they may work hard, the subconscious mind will sabotage their efforts to ensure that the picture they carry within is fulfilled. Now imagine one who sees themselves strong, capable, successful, and wealthy. Even when obstacles arise, they persist, because their inner picture is so vivid, it will not let them quit. Their imagination sustains them, and eventually, the world bends to match the vision they have built inside. Imagination is the rehearsal room of life. Before the actor steps on stage, he has already played the role in his mind countless times. Before the athlete wins the race, she has already run it in imagination, feeling the triumph, tasting the victory. Likewise, before the wealthy enjoy their riches, they have already lived in that abundance within their minds, spending it, sharing it, feeling it, until it becomes their natural state. The outer life cannot resist the power of the inner image. There is no limit to imagination except the boundaries you impose upon it. If you see yourself as small, your life will shrink to match. If you see yourself as great, your life will expand to fit the picture. Imagination does not ask, is this reasonable? Is this likely? It asks only, what do you dare to see? Daring to see wealth when your pockets are empty is the first act of faith. Daring to see success when failure surrounds you is the seed of triumph. Daring to imagine money flowing freely to you when debts are at your door is the beginning of liberation. The mind works like a projector. Whatever film you place within, it is cast upon the screen of your life. If you replay scenes of worry, poverty, and struggle, you will see them acted out in reality. But if you project images of abundance, ease, and prosperity, then those pictures will unfold before you. Life does not discriminate between good or bad films. It only plays the reel you insert. That is why discipline of imagination is essential. You must choose your film wisely, for the show will go on. Emotions give power to imagination. A cold, lifeless picture has little effect, but when you imagine with passion, with joy, gratitude, excitement, the subconscious receives it as reality. Feel the money in your hand, hear the sound of it, see yourself using it with ease and generosity. Feel the pride of success, the joy of accomplishment, the security of abundance. The more vividly you feel the picture, the faster it draws itself into the material world. This is why daydreaming without feeling is weak, while purposeful imagination with emotion is unstoppable. Great wealth builders, inventors, and leaders have always understood this truth. They lived first in the vision of what could be before it was ever seen. They faced ridicule, doubt, and setbacks, but their inner image was stronger than outer opposition. They persisted until the world caught up with their imagination. You too can command such power. Do not limit yourself to what is, but boldly imagine what can be. The unseen is the womb of the seen. If you can hold it within, you can hold it in your hands. When poverty thoughts creep in, when you are tempted to see yourself defeated, close your eyes and substitute the picture. See yourself walking into abundance, paying bills with ease, giving generously, living freely. See the doors opening, the opportunities appearing, the bank account growing. Do this not once, but daily, until the picture becomes more real to you than the temporary conditions around you. Conditions are shadows, imagination is substance. Conditions change, imagination creates. Imagination must be guarded, for many use it unconsciously to rehearse disaster. They see themselves failing, losing, being rejected, and then wonder why such things happen. The universe is not punishing them. It is fulfilling the picture they have supplied. The same power that creates wealth can create ruin, depending on how it is directed. Therefore, use imagination wisely, deliberately, faithfully. Treat it as the sacred creative tool it is. To imagine abundance is to call it forth. To imagine success is to prepare its arrival. To imagine money flowing to you is to set unseen forces into motion that will bring it. Your imagination is your fortune teller, but unlike a passive prediction, it is also the builder of what it predicts. When you dare to imagine riches with faith and gratitude, you become the architect of your prosperity. So close your eyes and begin now. Picture the life you desire, not faintly, but vividly. See the details, feel the emotions, live in that vision until it becomes more natural than doubt. Do this daily with persistence, and you will watch as the invisible blueprint of imagination solidifies into the visible reality of money, success, and abundance. For imagination is not fantasy. It is the foundation upon which your richest life is built. Words are the carriers of power, the vessels through which unseen forces are given shape and sent forth into the world. Every word you speak is a seed, and every seed must bear fruit after its kind. If you speak lack, you plant poverty. If you speak fear, you plant limitation. If you speak faith, you plant abundance. If you speak wealth, you plant money and success. Words are never idle. They go out and return multiplied. To understand this is to understand why the tongue has the power of life and death. What you declare with conviction today will meet you tomorrow as reality. The great truth is this: you cannot separate money from the words you speak about it. To say, money is scarce, money is hard to earn, money slips away from me, is to command the unseen to make it so. But to declare, money flows to me easily, money stays with me and multiplies, money is my constant companion, is to write a new script for your life, one that prosperity must act out. The spoken word is not mere sound. It is vibration, energy, decree. Once spoken with belief, it becomes a command that life must obey. Think of words as architects. They draw the blueprint and set the stones of your reality in place. When you say, "I can't afford it," you are laying bricks of limitation in the structure of your life. But when you say, "I always have more than enough," you are building a mansion of plenty. When you declare, "I am poor," you give shape to poverty. When you affirm, "I am wealthy," you create the pattern for wealth. Words are not careless. They are builders, and every builder builds according to your command. This is why faith must accompany speech. Empty words spoken without belief are weak and ineffective. But words charged with faith are like lightning bolts, igniting the atmosphere and rearranging circumstances. Faith is the current that electrifies your words, causing them to materialize with speed and power. To say, "I am prosperous," with doubt is to whisper in the wind. To say, "I am prosperous," with faith is to strike the hammer of creation. The universe cannot resist a word clothed in faith. Money, like everything else, is obedient to the tone of your words. Those who continually complain about not having enough repel money, for their words create walls that keep it out. Those who continually bless money, speak well of it, and affirm its presence, draw it closer. The one who says, "Money is always leaving me," watches it vanish. The one who says, "Money always stays with me and grows," finds it multiplying. Words act as magnets, pulling conditions that match their vibration. Speak with blessing, and money is blessed in your life. Consider how words shape the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not reason or debate. It accepts words as orders. When it hears, "I am broke," it organizes life to make it so. When it hears, "I am wealthy," it rearranges circumstances, inspires actions, and opens doors to fulfill that command. Every day, your subconscious listens to your words and sets the machinery of life into motion accordingly. Therefore, to speak abundance daily is to program your inner self for riches, and life must eventually deliver. Guard your tongue, for careless speech is costly. Many cancel their prosperity by joking about being broke, by habitually declaring they cannot afford things, or by constantly complaining. They think these words are harmless, but the law of words knows no humor. It takes you at your word. The seed does not care whether it was planted in jest. It will grow regardless. That is why wisdom teaches us to let every word be measured, purposeful, uplifting, and rich with faith. It is not enough to merely avoid negative speech. You must actively affirm the positive. Silence alone cannot build. You must speak what you want with boldness. Say daily, "Money comes to me from many sources. Money stays with me. Money serves me and blesses others through me. I am divinely supplied. I live in abundance." Repeat these words until they ring with conviction. Speak them in the morning to set the tone of the day, and at night to instruct the subconscious while you sleep. The harvest of your words will not delay. History is filled with those who mastered this law, consciously or unconsciously. They spoke success into existence long before it appeared. They affirmed victory when defeat seemed certain. They declared abundance when pockets were empty, and because their words carried faith, life fulfilled them. You have the same power. Your present condition is but the echo of past words. Your future condition will be the echo of today's words. Change the declaration, and you change the destiny. There is no limit to what faith-filled words can call into being. They can bring unexpected money, miraculous opportunities, lasting success, joyful relationships, radiant health. They can reverse conditions that seem impossible to change. They can open doors no man can shut. They can turn poverty into riches and despair into triumph. Words spoken with faith are not bound by time, space, or logic. They are creative laws in motion. So speak with authority. Let your words be rich with faith and charged with conviction. Refuse to curse your finances with thoughts of lack. Refuse to declare defeat over your endeavors. Speak money into your life. Speak success into your path. Speak abundance into your days. As you do, the invisible forces of life will move, align, and conspire to fulfill your decree. For the tongue is not a toy. It is a key. And when you turn it with faith, the vault of money and success swings open. Imagination is the workshop of creation, the silent architect that designs the structures of wealth, success, and prosperity long before they rise in the material world. Every fortune, every empire, every discovery, every masterpiece of art or industry was first an invisible picture in the mind of its creator. Nothing exists in your hands that did not first exist in your thoughts. Imagination is the soil, and riches are the harvest. If you desire money, if you seek success, you must first sow the seeds of imagination with boldness and conviction, for it is the blueprint that determines what life will build for you. Many dismiss imagination as fantasy, a mere plaything of children or dreamers, but this is a grave mistake. Imagination is not idle, it is powerful, and it is prophetic. The picture you hold vividly and repeatedly in your mind, especially when charged with feeling, sets forces in motion that rearrange the world around you. To imagine lack is to build poverty. To imagine abundance is to construct prosperity. You may not yet see the mansion, the thriving business, the flourishing career, but if you have pictured it with faith, it already exists in the unseen realm, waiting for the right moment to appear. Imagine a person who continually sees themselves struggling, failing, overlooked, and rejected. Though they may work hard, the subconscious mind will sabotage their efforts to ensure that the picture they carry within is fulfilled. Now imagine one who sees themselves strong, capable, successful, and wealthy. Even when obstacles arise, they persist, because their inner picture is so vivid it will not let them quit. Their imagination sustains them, and eventually the world bends to match the vision they have built inside. Imagination is the rehearsal room of life. Before the actor steps on stage, he has already played the role in his mind countless times. Before the athlete wins the race, she has already run it in imagination, feeling the triumph, tasting the victory. Likewise, before the wealthy enjoy their riches, they have already lived in that abundance within their minds, spending it, sharing it, feeling it, until it becomes their natural state. The outer life cannot resist the power of the inner image. There is no limit to imagination except the boundaries you impose upon it. If you see yourself as small, your life will shrink to match. If you see yourself as great, your life will expand to fit the picture. Imagination does not ask, is this reasonable? Is this likely? It asks only, what do you dare to see? Daring to see wealth when your pockets are empty is the first act of faith. Daring to see success when failure surrounds you is the seed of triumph. Daring to imagine money flowing freely to you when debts are at your door is the beginning of liberation. The mind works like a projector. Whatever film you place within, it is cast upon the screen of your life. If you replay scenes of worry, poverty, and struggle, you will see them acted out in reality. But if you project images of abundance, ease, and prosperity, then those pictures will unfold before you. Life does not discriminate between good or bad films. It only plays the reel you insert. That is why discipline of imagination is essential. You must choose your film wisely, for the show will go on. Emotions give power to imagination. A cold, lifeless picture has little effect, but when you imagine with passion, with joy, gratitude, excitement, the subconscious receives it as reality. Feel the money in your hand, hear the sound of it, see yourself using it with ease and generosity. Feel the pride of success, the joy of accomplishment, the security of abundance. The more vividly you feel the picture, the faster it draws itself into the material world. This is why daydreaming without feeling is weak, while purposeful imagination with emotion is unstoppable. Great wealth builders, inventors, and leaders have always understood this truth. They lived first in the vision of what could be before it was ever seen. They faced ridicule, doubt, and setbacks, but their inner image was stronger than outer opposition. They persisted until the world caught up with their imagination. You too can command such power. Do not limit yourself to what is, but boldly imagine what can be. The unseen is the womb of the seen. If you can hold it within, you can hold it in your hands when poverty thoughts creep in, when you are tempted to see yourself defeated. Close your eyes and substitute the picture. See yourself walking into abundance, paying bills with ease, giving generously, living freely. See the doors opening, the opportunities appearing, the bank account growing. Do this not once, but daily, until the picture becomes more real to you than the temporary conditions around you. Conditions are shadows, imagination is substance. Conditions change, imagination creates. Imagination must be guarded, for many use it unconsciously to rehearse disaster. They see themselves failing, losing, being rejected, and then wonder why such things happen. The universe is not punishing them. It is fulfilling the picture they have supplied. The same power that creates wealth can create ruin, depending on how it is directed. Therefore, use imagination wisely, deliberately, faithfully. Treat it as the sacred creative tool it is. To imagine abundance is to call it forth. To imagine success is to prepare its arrival. To imagine money flowing to you is to set unseen forces into motion that will bring it. Your imagination is your fortune teller, but unlike a passive prediction, it is also the builder of what it predicts. When you dare to imagine riches with faith and gratitude, you become the architect of your prosperity. So close your eyes and see beyond the visible. See with the eyes of the spirit. Let your imagination draw the life you desire in bold strokes, bright colors, limitless patterns. Let no fear dim the picture, no doubt erase it. Hold it until it becomes alive, until it breathes within you. For what you dare to imagine with faith, you will surely live. Your imagination is not fantasy, it is prophecy. It is the preview of your riches, the sketch of your success, the divine language by which tomorrow's abundance is written today. Dare to imagine greatly, and life will pay you richly. Every action has a consequence. Every seed sown must yield its harvest, and every cause produces its effect. This law is immutable, impartial, and ever-present. When it comes to money and success, it is no different. Wealth does not appear by accident. It is the result of causes deliberately or unconsciously set in motion. Poverty is not a curse from without, but the effect of inner and outer causes combined. To grasp the law of cause and effect is to take hold of the reins of destiny, for by choosing your causes wisely, you can shape the effects into prosperity, abundance, and lasting success. Imagine a farmer scattering seeds across the soil. He knows that the earth will not judge the seed, but will simply produce after its kind. If he plants wheat, wheat will grow. If he plants weeds, weeds will flourish. The law of cause and effect is no respecter of persons. It responds to what is sown. The same is true of money. If you continually plant seeds of fear, doubt, complaint, and carelessness, do not be surprised when the harvest is lack and limitation. But if you sow seeds of faith, gratitude, generosity, and discipline, the inevitable effect is abundance. The soil of life is fertile. It is your choice what you plant. Many people deceive themselves by expecting an abundant harvest from seeds of scarcity. They speak lack, think failure, act in fear, and yet demand riches. This is impossible. Life cannot give you an effect without the corresponding cause. To expect money without aligning thought, word, and deed with prosperity is to defy the law. It would be like planting thorns and demanding roses. The universe does not work by favoritism, but by law. When you align with the law, riches flow naturally. When you resist it, lack follows just as naturally. The law of cause and effect teaches us that every thought is a seed. A thought of wealth is a cause that sets in motion conditions, ideas, and opportunities that produce wealth. A thought of failure is a cause that produces defeat, even if not immediately. The subconscious mind records every thought and builds conditions to match it. Life is not punishing or rewarding. It is mirroring the seeds you sow daily. If your world is filled with limitation, examine the causes in your thinking. If your world begins to blossom with prosperity, recognize the seeds of faith and abundance that you have planted. But thoughts alone are not enough. They must be coupled with action. To think abundance while acting in carelessness is to send mixed signals to the universe. To imagine riches while wasting time or refusing discipline is to plant and uproot seeds simultaneously. The law rewards consistency. When your thoughts, words, and actions are united toward prosperity, the effect is certain. Money and success do not resist. They flow to those who consistently create causes aligned with them. Faithful sowing always leads to harvest. Generosity is one of the most powerful causes of wealth. The one who hoards in fear closes the flow of money, while the one who gives in faith opens the floodgates. Money is like water. It must circulate to remain fresh. When you release it with joy and blessing, it returns multiplied. But when you cling to it in fear, it stagnates and slips away. Giving is not loss, it is planting. Each act of generosity is a seed of prosperity. The effect is an inevitable return, often in ways you could never predict. Gratitude is another cause of wealth. A thankful heart multiplies blessings, while a complaining tongue withers them. To constantly declare, "I never have enough," is to sow lack. To affirm, "I am grateful for what I have, and more is on its way," is to sow abundance. Gratitude aligns you with the good already present, and in that alignment, more must come. The universe expands the effects of your gratitude because it magnifies the causes you acknowledge. Gratitude is the rich soil in which the seeds of prosperity grow rapidly. Discipline is also essential. Wealth cannot flourish in disorder, carelessness, or waste. To manage little with wisdom is to prepare for much. To squander little is to disqualify yourself for more. The law does not entrust riches where stewardship is absent. If you desire greater wealth, begin by aligning your present actions with order, integrity, and responsibility. These are causes that the law cannot overlook. The effect must be increase. Some despair because they see little harvest despite their efforts. But the law is patient. Seeds take time to sprout, grow, and bear fruit. Do not dig up your seeds in doubt or abandon the field in impatience. Continue sowing faith, gratitude, generosity, and discipline. The harvest will not delay. It may come suddenly in unexpected ways, but it will come. Life does not forget the seeds you have planted. Every cause must meet its effect. The beauty of this law is that no past failure can bind you if you begin sowing new causes today. Poverty, debt, loss, all are but effects of former causes. Plant new seeds and the old harvest will pass, replaced by a new one of abundance. No one is doomed by yesterday's causes if they choose differently today. This law is as merciful as it is just, for it allows renewal at every moment. A single choice, a single new seed, can change the future harvest. Therefore, be deliberate. Do not scatter seeds carelessly. Speak words of abundance, think thoughts of wealth, act in ways that honor prosperity. Give generously, live gratefully, work faithfully, manage wisely. These are not empty ideals. They are causes, and causes cannot fail to produce effects. Money, success, and abundance are not mysteries. They are harvests. Plant well, tend faithfully, and life will deliver in due season. The law cannot be broken, and when used rightly, it cannot fail to bring riches into your life. Faith is the unseen force that calls things not yet visible into reality, and persistence is the hand that holds the door open until they arrive. Together, they form the unbreakable key that unlocks money, success, and abundance. Without faith, persistence grows weary. Without persistence, faith withers before the harvest. But when faith and persistence walk side by side, nothing can stop the arrival of prosperity. These two qualities, working in harmony, are the engine of wealth creation, the unseen power behind every success story, and the eternal law that transforms vision into substance. Faith begins in the invisible. It sees the promise before the evidence. It declares, "I am prosperous," when pockets are empty, and "I am successful," when opportunities seem shut. Faith is the conviction that the unseen is more real than the visible, for the visible is temporary, but the unseen is eternal. Faith believes in the law of abundance, that the universe is rich beyond measure and ready to supply those who claim their share with conviction. Without faith, imagination is powerless, words are empty, and actions lack energy. Faith clothes every thought, word, and deed with power. Persistence is faith in motion. It is the daily choice to continue, even when results are delayed. It is the refusal to surrender to appearances, the decision to act in harmony with abundance even when circumstances contradict it. Persistence is the voice that says, though the harvest is not yet visible, the seed is planted, and I will water it until it grows. Those who abandon too soon never see their prosperity ripen. But those who persist, unmoved by delay, are rewarded with abundance, for the law of cause and effect cannot be broken. Faith without persistence is a spark without fuel. It flares for a moment but dies when the winds of challenge blow. Persistence without faith is toil without vision, an endless grind with no reward. But together, faith and persistence are unstoppable. Faith gives you the picture of wealth. Persistence builds the bridge to reach it. Faith sets the intention, persistence fulfills it. Faith is the seed, persistence is the tending. Faith declares, persistence proves. Both are necessary for money and success to manifest fully. Consider those who have built fortunes from nothing. They began not with riches in hand, but with faith in their vision. They faced setbacks, ridicule, and failure, yet they persisted. Their faith told them abundance was theirs, and their persistence refused to let go. In time, the invisible became visible, the dream became reality, and their wealth testified to the law at work. The same law is available to you. The same force of faith, the same power of persistence, is already within you, waiting to be ignited. Faith is fed by words. To say daily, I am wealthy, I am successful, I am richly supplied, is to water the seed of faith. Words spoken with conviction reinforce belief, and belief fuels persistence. Each declaration of abundance builds inner certainty, and that certainty strengthens the will to continue. When you speak wealth, you sustain faith. When faith is sustained, persistence endures. Thus, the cycle of creation is kept alive until money and success manifest outwardly. Persistence is strengthened by gratitude. When you give thanks for small blessings, you affirm the arrival of greater ones. Gratitude keeps your spirit alive during seasons of waiting. It reminds you that though the full harvest is unseen, sprouts are already breaking through the soil. Gratitude says, I trust the law, I know my prosperity is certain. In gratitude, you find the energy to persist joyfully without bitterness or impatience. Gratitude transforms persistence from struggle into steady, confident expectancy. Money and success are not won in a single moment. They are built daily by the union of faith and persistence. One day you declare abundance in faith. The next day you act in persistence to align with it. One day you face obstacles, but persistence says, this is temporary. Another day you see small victories, and faith says, this is a sign of the greater to come. Over time, these two forces build momentum until the floodgates open. Suddenly, what seemed far away arrives swiftly, for faith and persistence have unlocked the door. Doubt is the great enemy of both faith and persistence. Doubt whispers, it will not happen. You are wasting your time, give up. But doubt is a liar, for the law of abundance cannot fail. When doubt arises, answer it with faith-filled words, it is done. My supply is certain. I walk in abundance now. Then act with persistence, taking one step closer to prosperity. Every time you choose faith over doubt, persistence over surrender, you weaken the hold of limitation and strengthen the law of abundance in your life. Remember this truth. Delay is not denial. Just because the harvest is not visible does not mean it is not growing. Farmers do not abandon the field because the seed is hidden beneath the soil. They water it, tend it, and trust the process. Likewise, when you plant thoughts of wealth, words of prosperity, and actions of discipline, the harvest must come. Faith assures you of its arrival. Persistence keeps you moving toward it, and together they guarantee success. So let faith be your vision and persistence your strength. Declare abundance boldly and act in harmony with it daily. Refuse to be moved by appearances. Refuse to give up when results seem slow. The law of prosperity is certain, and your role is to believe and persist until the invisible becomes visible. Faith and persistence will carry you where doubt and fear cannot go. They will open doors, attract money, and secure success. They are the golden keys, and when you use them together, wealth cannot help but flow into your life. Money is not merely paper, coins, or numbers on a screen. It is energy, fluid and dynamic, always moving, always circulating. To understand money as energy is to unlock the secret of wealth and success, for energy must flow to remain alive. When it is blocked by fear, hoarding, or negative thoughts, it stagnates and diminishes. When it is allowed to circulate with faith, gratitude, and generosity, it multiplies and returns in greater measure. To align yourself with this truth is to step into the current of prosperity, where money flows freely and consistently through your life. Consider how rivers flow. A river that is dammed without outlet becomes stagnant, breeding decay. But a river that flows freely nourishes everything in its path. Money works the same way. Those who cling to it in fear, afraid to release it, cut off its circulation. Eventually, it dries up. But those who give, spend wisely, invest boldly, and bless money as it moves, find it returning like a tide. Money, like water, must move. It is never meant to sit idle. It is meant to circulate, to bless, to grow. When you see money as energy, you begin to treat it with respect and confidence rather than fear. Fear says, there will not be enough. Faith says, there is always more on the way. Fear clutches, hoards, and limits. Faith releases, multiplies, and expands. If you believe money is scarce, you contract the flow. If you believe money is abundant, you open the channels. The law is simple. What you believe about money becomes the truth of your experience. Money responds to your attitude toward it. This is why gratitude is essential in keeping money flowing. When you bless the money you have, no matter how small, you increase its energy. Gratitude says, I honor this money and I welcome more. Complaint says, this is not enough, and shuts the door to increase. Every coin, every bill, every transaction can be charged with gratitude, and in so doing, you align yourself with greater abundance. Money is energy, and gratitude is the magnet that amplifies it. Generosity, too, is a vital principle. When you give, you release money with a blessing, and in that release you set in motion a return. Money given in fear brings no return, but money given with joy and confidence multiplies. The universe loves circulation. The more freely you give, the more freely you receive. Many have discovered that when they gave their last coin in faith, the flow of abundance opened unexpectedly. Generosity breaks the dam of fear and releases the current of prosperity. Yet generosity must be balanced with wisdom. To waste money carelessly is to disrespect its energy. Money flows best where there is order and intention. Discipline in handling money is not restriction, but alignment with its nature. Just as energy flows through well-built circuits, money flows through well-ordered lives. To manage wisely, save prudently, invest intelligently, and spend consciously is to create channels through which the current of money can move powerfully and without obstruction. Your thoughts about money are also currents of energy. To think money is hard to get sends out a vibration that restricts its flow. To affirm money comes to me easily and abundantly creates an energetic channel through which money can arrive. Every thought you hold about money charges the energy around it. Negative thoughts weaken the current. Positive thoughts strengthen it. This is why affirmations are so powerful. They are not empty words, but commands that direct the energy of money toward you. Fear is the greatest block to the flow of money. Fear says, what if it runs out? What if I fail? What if I lose it all? These thoughts act like stones thrown into a stream, disrupting the current. The more you fear, the more you block. The antidote to fear is faith. Faith declares, money is infinite. It flows to me from endless sources. Even if one channel closes, another opens. Faith removes the stones and allows the current to run smoothly. When you trust the flow, you will never fear lack again, for you know the source is inexhaustible. Success, too, follows this principle. Those who see success as limited, as something only a few can achieve, block themselves. Those who see success as abundant, as energy flowing freely, open themselves to opportunity. Success is not won by competition alone, but by alignment. When you align with the energy of abundance, by thinking richly, acting boldly, and giving generously, success flows as naturally as money does. Both are currents of the same prosperity. The great shift happens when you stop chasing money and instead align yourself with its flow. Chasing creates resistance, alignment creates attraction. You align by honoring money, by blessing it, by circulating it, by thinking abundantly, and by living in faith rather than fear. Then money ceases to be a struggle and becomes a stream that nourishes your life. You do not have to force the river to flow. You only need to step into it. So see money not as a lifeless object, but as living energy, moving, vibrant, responsive. Treat it as a friend, not an enemy. Bless it when it comes, bless it when it goes, for it will always return. Speak words that honor it, think thoughts that expand it, act in ways that circulate it wisely. Let generosity open the channels, let gratitude multiply the flow, let faith remove the fear. Then money will move toward you as naturally as rivers find the sea, and success will accompany it. To live in harmony with money as energy is to live in freedom. You are no longer enslaved by fear of lack, no longer grasping or hoarding. You are flowing with the current of prosperity, and in that flow, money and success are constant companions. The energy of money is infinite, and when you align with it, your life becomes a channel through which it pours abundantly, endlessly, joyfully. Visualization is the art of seeing with the eyes of the mind before the evidence appears in the material world. It is the painter's brush that colors the unseen, the architect's drawing that shapes the invisible into form. Money, success, and abundance are not accidents. They are first visions held with conviction in the secret chambers of the imagination. What you continually see inwardly, you must eventually live outwardly. To master visualization is to master the flow of prosperity, for it is the rehearsal of reality before reality arrives. Every person lives daily by the pictures they hold inside. Some see themselves surrounded by lack, constantly struggling, constantly behind. Without realizing it, they play these images on the screen of their minds until life faithfully projects them outward. Others dare to see themselves wealthy, successful, and free. They hold that image firmly even when outer evidence contradicts it. And slowly but surely, the world bends to fit their vision. Life is but a mirror reflecting the images impressed upon the inner mind. Change the picture, and the reflection must change. Visualization is more than idle daydreaming. It is a deliberate act of creation. To sit quietly, close the eyes, and picture abundance in vivid detail is to give substance to the unseen. Feel the money in your hand, see the numbers in your account, picture yourself walking in freedom, giving generously, succeeding boldly. The more detailed and alive the picture, the more power it carries. For the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined scene and a lived experience. It accepts both as real and sets the machinery of life in motion to produce it. This is why athletes visualize victory before the race, why leaders see triumph before the battle, why inventors picture their creations long before they appear. They understand that visualization is rehearsal, and rehearsal prepares reality. You too can use this divine tool to rehearse wealth and success until they become second nature. The world outside must eventually conform to the pictures you have established within. Emotion is the lifeblood of visualization. A cold, detached picture has little effect, but when charged with joy, gratitude, and expectancy, it becomes magnetic. See yourself not only possessing money, but feeling the security, the freedom, the joy of it. See yourself not only succeeding, but tasting the victory, feeling the thrill, standing in triumph. When the inner image is wrapped in emotion, it impresses itself deeply upon the subconscious, and from there, it begins to shape the outer life with power. Consistency is essential. A single vision quickly abandoned is like a seed left unwatered. But a vision tended daily, revisited with faith, becomes rooted in the subconscious. Set aside moments each day to close your eyes and rehearse your abundance. See it clearly, feel it fully, affirm it boldly. Let the vision become more real to you than the temporary circumstances around you. The outer world is slow to change, but the inner picture can shift instantly. And once the inner is established, the outer must follow. Do not allow doubt to cloud the vision. When fear whispers, "This is impossible," answer with faith, with God, all things are possible. Abundance is mine now. Do not allow appearances to distract you. Temporary lack does not define permanent destiny. Keep your eyes fixed on the vision, for it is the seed of tomorrow's abundance. Every picture held in faith is a prophecy waiting to be fulfilled. Visualization is also magnified by words. When you speak affirmations that match the picture, you charge it with additional power. To say, "I am wealthy, I am successful, I am richly supplied," while picturing yourself in abundance, aligns word and vision in harmony. The subconscious receives a double command, spoken and visual, and the effect is accelerated. Words and images together are like hammer and chisel, carving prosperity into the stone of reality. Generosity further fuels the vision. When you visualize abundance while giving freely, you demonstrate trust in the picture you hold. You act as though it is already real, and in acting, you strengthen the belief. Life responds to such boldness. It opens doors, provides channels, and brings opportunities to match the vision. To see abundance inwardly, speak it outwardly, and act in line with it is to create an unbreakable circle of prosperity. History offers endless testimony to the power of visualization. The great builders of wealth did not wait for riches to appear before they believed. They saw it first within. They walked through their palaces in the mind long before the stones were laid. They envisioned their enterprises thriving when others doubted. And because they refused to let the vision die, abundance eventually clothed itself in material form. The world calls them visionaries, but in truth, they were simply obedient to the law of visualization. This law is available to you as much as to them. There is no limit to what you may see, no restriction on the visions you may hold. The only limit is the one you accept in your mind. Dare to see riches, and riches will dare to find you. Dare to see success, and success will chase you. Dare to see abundance, and abundance will overflow in your life. The vision within is stronger than the conditions without. Hold it until it becomes reality. So set your inner stage with intention. Close your eyes and walk the halls of abundance. See yourself paying bills with ease, living in freedom, blessing others with generosity. Feel the confidence of success, the peace of prosperity, the joy of wealth. Visit this vision daily until it becomes your home. Then watch as life, faithful to the images you supply, builds it brick by brick in your outer world. Visualization is not fantasy, it is prophecy. It is the blueprint of prosperity, the rehearsal of wealth, the seed of success. Money and abundance cannot resist a vision held with faith and emotion. See it, believe it, live it inwardly, and soon you will hold it outwardly. For the law is certain, what you vividly imagine with faith, you must one day experience.